Hello and welcome to our third episode of the Power Half Hour Unstoppable Business Owner. And tonight we have the amazing Daniel Evans. Welcome to the show, Daniel.
Thanks for having me, Dorothy. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. I mean, this man is stunning. And normally when you hear the word finance, to me, it means boring. This man is anything but boring. I mean, as I've been in finance for 25 years, but in the bookkeeping part. But Daniel, tell us what it is that your company does.
So we are a financial advisory firm. So it's exactly what you think. We offer advice and guidance to individuals, to families. Um, we do things as easy as a financial plan, something that's straightforward. We do a little bit of tax work, and we can do things as complicated as trusts and estates and selling off large blocks of stock if you're at a company and you've got stock options. So we're basically set up to handle anything from being straightforward to the very complex. And the reason why I say that is because when I worked at some of the larger wealth management firms, they only work with a certain group of people. And I see a lot of people get turned away who really needed advice and really needed help in setting financial goals. And that's why I started the company. And that's why I don't really turn anybody down per se. I always offer my advice is free, and what they pay for is implementation and ongoing guidance.
Right. And that is so powerful. And the reason why I really had to have Daniel on the show is because if you've ever followed him on his LinkedIn, this man takes finance to a whole new fun level. And I love your videos, Daniel. I love the fact you just became a vegan recently.
I did Veganuary, which was the month of January. So I was already a vegetarian, but I thought this is going to be easy because what's a vegan? That's got to be very similar. It's not similar because I had to stop eating milk, drinking milk. I had to stop eating cheese.
Ooh.
Oh my gosh, I had to stop a lot of things. Even the spaghetti sauce I was using had milk in it. I was surprised at all the things that had dairy.
Right.
So I was like, wow, this is really hard because I love cheese. I love milk. Like I love pizza,
Right. Who doesn't?
Who doesn't? And it was really tough. It was really tough. I mean, I had to find other alternatives.
Right.
But I mean, to be honest with you, I'm plant-based more than I was before. That's what I'll say.
Right.
But being a vegan is definitely tough.
Right. And the reason why I brought that up, because if you looked at Daniel's profile, he's not your typical financial advisor. This man has fun in everything that he's doing. And I think that's important, as being the queen of fun. And he takes it to a whole new level. Like he'll go in and, look for different, what's that word I'm calling for? Looking for different things that his client or his target client would have in the grocery store, and definitely just you bring that to a whole new level. I mean, this guy was eating the new vegan stuff he was trying. If you have not gone to his LinkedIn profile, you need to run over there right now, click on his profile, which is in the show notes, and definitely get to know this guy, because it's just cracks me up that you're willing to go that far, just even to attract people to you. But obviously if you do go that far to attract somebody to you, you're going to go that far to help them. And that's why I'm like, man, we really need this guy on the show. And that's what I started the show, because I've met some incredible people working in different coaching things and stuff like that. And Daniel just happened to be in one of the classes that I was in, and I'm like, man, this guy's awesome. People get to need to know him. And so tell us, what are your 3 things that you've overcome in business?
Yeah, I mean, I think confidence was the one thing that was really tough for me in the beginning, especially starting in wealth management, because, even though I'm familiar with finance, when I started wealth management, I didn't actually manage money before. And, people would come in and they would have a lot of money, and they would be asking me questions. because they're essentially handing me the keys, if you will, to their financial house. And, it was just a big responsibility. And so I was always struggling with doubt whether or not I could handle it, and they saw it. So, so they went somewhere else. So I would say in the very beginning, I mean, it was, I wanted to do it. It was in my heart to do it, but it was a confidence thing. I eventually found my way, obviously. And, I got thrown into a bunch of different situations with clients that were complicated, and I helped them through it. And that built my confidence.
Right.
But along the way, it was really tough to build that confidence. That's number one. And number two, it was also really hard not comparing myself to other advisors out there,
Right.
especially other advisors who were already far along in the business, who had more experience, because you're competing against them too. And so you look at their websites and you look at how they do business and you look at different things they're doing, and you can't help to compare, and say to yourself, I'm really falling short in this area. I really don't know if I could do that. I don't know if I could do this. And so the comparison thing I had to overcome also, because I had to realize I had my own voice, my own story to tell, and that I was unique. And so being able to do that and create my story that was just my story and not a hodgepodge of somebody else's stories,
Right.
I had to overcome that too. And which is why, LinkedIn's been so great, because I'm able to communicate my story and tell it from a unique perspective. And then number three, I mean, just piggybacking on number two, finding my own voice,
Right.
So, because honestly, like, I didn't know who I was as a business person. I kind of had an idea because I was looking at other people, because I didn't have the confidence, Now I had to throw all that aside and be like, who am I really? So I actually started to do some soul searching about the things that I'm passionate about. I'm passionate about food. I grew up on a farm, passionate about farming. I'm passionate about my faith. I'm a devout believer who does Bible study in the mornings, meditation and prayer. And I just love people. I love being outdoors. I love sports. I love being on the water. And so I started talking about these things, and, people started to get interested in, the things that I was into. And I was just so surprised because, believe it or not, during the end, I spent about a good year on LinkedIn talking about all the things that I knew, all my expertise, all the information, and I wasn't getting any views. I wasn't getting any likes, and I was saying to myself, I got to do something different. And then, you talk to people, different coaches and stuff, and say, well, you just got to be your authentic self. You got to be yourself. I'm like, well, who am I? What is authentic about me?
Well, I think you found it, because you really found your authenticity lately, especially with your posts that you've been out there. And it's funny that, I've spoken to a couple different industries already. I mean, this is my third episode, but I've spoken to a lot of business owners over the years. And it's funny that no matter what, the common denominator, that if you don't have the confidence and, the confidence, or if your mind is not in the right mindset, that would stop everything in your business. And so no matter what, if it's finance, which to me anyways, when I think of finance, I think of like a powerhouse, right? That's what I think of when I think of money and finance, right? Because usually people use money as power, not all the time. But to me, that's what I equate it to. And maybe I'm just weird, who knows?
No.
And that's a possibility. But, but it's true. If we get the confidence and we are our authentic selves, that we attract those people. And I'm sure you've noticed it, that you could be for everybody, but not everybody's going to like you, right? And so that's another thing I think as a business owner, getting over and, gaining that confidence. And once you help one person, you can help a million more. So,
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for a professional networking platform that's supposed to be about business, people do care about who you are,
oh yeah.
who you really are, because, I imagine it's easier for people to talk about their expertise and to talk about, their experience and, but then you don't really know who they are because everyone's like that, you know?
Yeah.
So it's
People don't care about things like that. They care about how you made them feel, or and it just by being there for them and showing up is half the battle. Because
yeah,
I mean,
it's
we had
really,
somebody that was supposed to come in for they came in for a job interview, got the job, and didn't show up the first day at work. I was just like, are you kidding me? So it's amazing how this world goes around. It really is. So what would you think, or not what do you think? I know you know what you know. How have you helped your clients overcome? Or what three things
so
have you helped your clients overcome?
yes. So my clients, it varies. But the most common thing that they're trying to overcome is how to take risk so they can sleep at night. That's they know they want to be invested in the markets. They know that there is a compound interest. They know how all that stuff works, but they want to sleep at night. They want to feel like everything is safe. And so what I do is that we actually plan out their goals. So what most advisors don't do is that they create portfolios so they earn a return. But I create portfolios so they can actually meet a goal. So we attach all goals to a portfolio. And that's how they sleep at night because they know that they're not taking so many risks, and the risk they are taking is for a goal. It's
Right.
not just for a return.
Right. It's a
Because
calculated risk.
yes, and it's a much different conversation when you say, "Oh, here's my money, outperform the market and make so I have double in 7 years or something,"
Mhm.
versus saying, you know, "I want to retire in 10 years. Tell me how much money I need, and tell me how this portfolio can work for me to get there." That's a totally different conversation. So
Right.
when you walk them through that process, they're more at ease because they know everything is purposeful at that point,
Mhm.
not just arbitrarily just trying to beat the market. And then I find that when there's a down market, they actually don't call me as much. I'm the one calling them to say, hey, look, don't panic, hang in there. We're still on target. You're still meeting your goals for the quarter or for the
Right.
year. So just sit tight. So
Well, I would imagine with this pandemic, there was a lot of people hitting the panic button, not because of you, but because of what the economy is going through right now. And
yeah,
this pandemic is global, so it's not like you're in New York, I'm here in Canada, so it's affected us all. So how has the pandemic affected your clients?
yeah. So fortunately, unfortunately, and fortunately, we have seen this before in 2008 with the Great Recession.
Right.
So we've been here before with my clients. So it wasn't anything new to them. So everything I did then, I did during the pandemic.
Right.
We made some changes in the portfolio to take advantage of some new innovations and technologies that were going to be developed over the next 10 years.
Mhm.
My portfolio is thematic in practice, which means, you know, it's constructed as a traditional portfolio, but there's also part of it that's for, you know, I wouldn't say, how would I say it? I make a bold prediction about the future, about where I think the world is going to go on a global level,
Mhm.
big picture level.
Right.
And like, for example, I'll say, there's going to be more driverless cars on the road in 2030 than driven cars. So with that narrative, you're already thinking about what technology needs to be developed now to make that happen. So you invest in those stocks. So I would do stuff like that, and we would get an outsized return from that.
Mm-hmm.
So they help to meet their goals quicker.
Right. We just have to say hi to our friend Gail here. Gail, thanks for joining us. Gail is
Okay.
also from my area as well, here in Ontario.
Mhm.
And so, do you have like global clients, or do you just strictly stay? Are you can you only stick it to the U.S.?
I have US clients primarily, but I can work with Canadian clients and European clients and Africa and South America. Yeah, so I can work across the globe, and that's only in the last actually in the last year I was able to do that. So now I'm open for the whole world. Yeah,
Woohoo!
yeah.
Awesome, awesome. I will have to speak with you in the future.
There you go. I'll be there. Worldwide.
uh, yeah. So now that I have to ask, because I mean, this has blown up everywhere, Bitcoin and cryptocurrency. Um, do you, your business take into consideration that too, or do you guys just like stay away from that, or how? What do you guys think?
Oh no. Actually, this starting next quarter or starting in April, I will be able to invest not only in stocks and bonds, but also in crypto and NFTs as well, right alongside the portfolio. So it'll be
Okay.
the I call it the portfolio of the future.
Okay, because I hear this word quite often. What is an NFT? For those that are like financially dumb like me in that aspect.
Okay. So think of an NFT as a stock, but it's not backed by a company. It's backed by something else of value. That could be a piece of art, or that could be a collectible of some sort. Um, Now they have what's called a utility token, which is an NFT backed by the income from book royalties or music royalties or income from a startup. So you have NFTs that do that as well. That's fairly new, but the ones that people are talking about in the media are the NFTs that have unique assets attached to it, like art, collectibles, memorabilia, and that could be video, that could be visual, that could be audio,
Right.
uh, that could be all kinds of whatever someone thinks of value, they can issue NFT against it. And
Oh, well, then there we go. Let's do an NFT against my book.
you can. You could issue NFT on your book and give the owners part of the profit if you wanted to, or you could create some cool artwork for the cover, you know, and they could
Oh
own
my
that,
gosh.
you know, and they could resell that in the NFT market in the platform.
Wow. My mind is blown today. Before we came on, Daniel was telling me about something. I did a little wave of the future of my own, where I believe this show is going. This show and my other show, Unstoppable Overcomers, which is on Monday night at 7. And I said, I have put this into place that eventually I know it's going to be on TV. So Daniel gave me a little tip on how to do that. So we will see you on TV probably sooner rather than later.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And hey, Legia, welcome from Costa Rica.
Awesome.
So yeah, if you're just joining in now, we're with Daniel Evans, the amazing financial expert here, who is taking the finance world to a different level. And if you do not know him, you definitely have to get onto LinkedIn and go and follow this guy, because he takes finance to a whole new level. Like I said, for me, finance is boring, and I've done it for 25 years. And I actually had my mutual fund license at one time. But I allowed that to go. It's just, it wasn't fun for me.
Mhm.
And it's fun for Daniel, and you can tell it's fun because Daniel makes finance to a whole new art.
Thank
So
you. Thank
it's
you.
truth,
Appreciate that.
definitely,
Thank you.
definitely. And so if you missed the first part, Daniel, some of the things that he had to overcome was definitely confidence and finding his voice. And he's found it now. So that's awesome. Um,
Hmm.
and so what, so you've talked about the future and what you see, you know, NFTs, and so that my mind clicked because I didn't realize an NFT could be somebody's book as well. Uh, I've heard a lot of that. I just haven't really done a whole lot. I've been busy
Hmm.
busy focusing on other things. And that's why we have the financial experts,
For sure.
you know.
Yes.
Um, and definitely, okay, so there was something else that you said too. You start your morning routine with, your Bible study and meditation and things like that. I've heard of like the most successful people in the world have some sort of morning routine. And, I love what you said about that. Do you notice a difference if you don't start your morning routine off the same way every day, or at least with prayer and meditation?
Yeah, I find that when I don't pray in the mornings, that my day doesn't go as smooth. Definitely. Like I'm not productive at all. Like the day is totally like taking over so when I feel like when I pray, like I'm living each minute on purpose. But if I don't pray, then I feel like the day is taking over me. If that makes sense.
I love that. You're living your life with purpose.
Yeah. It's like
I love that.
everything is on purpose. Where if I don't pray, it's not on purpose. I feel like it's somebody else, you know, the circumstances take over, and then I feel like I'm just pulling all these direct. I know the day is over, and I didn't do anything that I wanted to get done, and it's not a good feeling.
I
Because
hear you.
yeah, I need that time to decompress and sort of you know surrender my day to God, so I can be smooth, so I can do what I'm supposed to be doing today, and do it excellently also.
Exactly. I love that. And it's funny because I I have something similar. I'll do like a quick 15-minute workout, and then I'll go into my
Yeah.
meditation, and then on definitely gratitude. I definitely start that off with, that is how I have to start it off, with gratitude. Or, for instance, Sunday I slept in, which I never do, but I
That's
know my
okay.
body needed it.
Hmm.
So I slept in and I didn't do my morning routine. I got up, came straight into my office because I had a meeting that I had to prepare for. And I normally take Sundays off, but last Sunday I didn't. And I'm telling you, I warned my business partner and I warned my friends, and I said, Sunday, I am not answering my phone. I'm not answering the messages that come in. There's Monday.
Yeah, there it is.
So it is it's truly important. I totally understand that. And it's just, um, and I think a lot of even high performance athletes start their day off like that too.
Yeah,
Definitely having their routine and things like that. So thank you for bringing that up,
yeah.
because not
But
a
I,
lot of people think of that.
I also want to add too, by actually doing it in the morning, you could also practice it at least during the day, throughout the day, because I find myself, especially so I break my day up in three stages. There's the morning, afternoon, and then there's the late evening. And before each time, I go into this period of entering. It's not meditation, but I go into a place of coherence where I lower my heart rate
Hmm.
so I can reduce the noise in my head and start thinking through what I'm doing for the next couple of hours. Um,
I love that.
so you start practicing that too, and it makes decisions really clear to answer. Because
I
I can be indecisive sometimes, and especially if I'm not confident in something, I'm indecisive. I'll procrastinate. But if I just If I just like settle myself, if I quiet myself, I can start to see clearly um, what's in front of me. So that's very helpful.
I love that. And I know I've seen on your social media that you pray for your clients every morning.
Yes, yeah, every Wednesday morning at 5 a.m. I pray for my clients. I actually pray for everyone that I meet during the week. Uh, so I'll be
Cool.
praying for your podcast,
Thank you.
and your audience to increase.
Yay.
I pray
Yes.
for everyone, that I meet during the week. And then what I do every other week, I share some of those prayers on LinkedIn. The things I've been praying about, I share a little bit of it in a post. So
Wow. That is powerful, people. So if you need a financial advisor who can work globally, who prays for you weekly, who starts his morning off the best way he knows how, and then throughout the day, gets into that state so that he can have a clear mind for you, what are you waiting for? Hook up with this man and I mean, I would trust him. I actually we will set up a meeting in the near future, Daniel,
sure,
and
sure.
definitely get this ball rolling, because I do have a plan, and I want $11 million in my bank account before I retire. So I have my end goal. I just need to get there.
There you go.
So, and I say that, but I am also setting up that once I reach a certain point, I will be living off 10% and giving away 90.
There you go.
So but I need to get to that point. And I haven't told my husband my predictions yet, but I'm in charge of the finances at home. So as long as he gets what he needs, that's all that matters, right? But eventually my goal is to actually only live off 10% and give away 90. So
That's funny. Well, that's such you mentioned that. That's another good example of how I work with clients, especially founders who are starting companies. They always come to me and they say, I want to build $1 billion company. What do I need to do today to get there? So I actually create financial models to help them see what they need to do for the next 6 months, a year, 2 years to get there.
mm-hmm.
So
Wow.
sometimes that means they got to raise money. Sometimes means they need to get sponsors or whatever it is, whatever it is. But they have an idea, and they have they have a plan to capture those revenues and those dollars to them in their business.
That's
So,
awesome.
yeah, no,
Start with the end in mind is what I'm
exactly.
hearing. Start with the
Yes,
end in mind. And
yes,
then you create that roadmap to get from where you are to where you want to be.
exactly.
That's the
It's
second time I've heard that this week. In my
reverse engineer.
creating the roadmap. So obviously this is definitely a divine appointment
Yes,
on more than one way. On
awesome.
more than one way.
Yes,
It's just that's awesome. I love it when
yes,
God shows up and shows off.
yes,
Um,
for sure, for sure.
oh wow. Well, we just want to thank our guests for joining us tonight. And Daniel, do you have any last words for our guests before we wrap this show up?
Well, I would say that you're not alone, and that you can overcome anything. And when you have people like Dorothy Ann in your corner, a real blessing can be upon you, because you need people like Dorothy Ann in your life to help you grow and overcome things. Because I wish I had met you, Dorothy Ann, 15 years ago. You know,
Me
it was
too.
it was a lot. Okay, well, it was a lot harder not working with somebody, is what I'm saying. When you
Yeah.
have somebody who can sort of like see things unemotionally, it's so helpful. It accelerates everything.
Right.
So
Well, I wish I would have met you 15 years ago too, because then my life would be totally different too.
that's right. We'd be in Costa Rica having this podcast.
Exactly. Well, that's funny you said that, because the goal is, well, I can do this anywhere in the world as long as I have an
Sure.
internet connection. So
Right.
that's another thing my husband doesn't know. We're going on the road.
It's a good
But
thing it's flexible.
it's, well, I always say, like, live your dream now because life is too short. So
Oh yeah. Yeah.
if the last 2 years haven't taught me that, like, seriously, life is too short. So you gotta do things now to, yes, to secure your future, but to also, like, live life fully, you
Yeah,
know.
you don't want to have any regrets,
Exactly,
especially if
exactly.
you think that you're good at something and you want to start a business. I mean, I know it's risky. People work, they have to make a living, but you can still work and still build your empire. You can still do that. Just talk to as many people as possible, get the help you need, overcome those things, and you're off the races.
I think you're speaking to my heart today, Daniel. I don't know here. It's just like, wow. Anyways, folks, this has been another amazing episode. And Daniel, I just thank you for joining us tonight. And we'll see you next week, folks. And that's a wrap.
Thanks for having me. I had fun. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And live your life unstoppably with power, folks.